That is weird. But it's right. You pull it up. Okay. I need the routine.
Everything to get back home. I saw.
You know what it is? Yeah. And I saw very
Thank you.
I'm the dishes up here because I didn't know that. Nobody told me, you know. Said, like I. That's good. That's
Any consideration of open session agenda changes? So. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Dr. Banks to approve the June 11, 2020 meeting, Camden County Board of Education. Seconded by Mr. Heath. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You would please observe a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Dr. Farrell, has anybody signed up for public comment? No, sir. You would please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Open session to appear. Consent agenda.
Okay, wait a minute. I have one thing to, on page 19 of the minutes. I'm not a mister. I'm Mrs. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Also have another correction for the personnel superintendent's recommendation on closed session under personnel. There's two under reassignments. They were actually resignations.
And what page is that, Christian?
It's page 25. Board pack.
Yeah.
Motion by Dr. Banks to approve the consent agenda with the minutes as amended. Seconded by Mr. Heath. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Information updates. The 2020-2021 re-entry plan update from Mr. Brazil.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Tonight I come to inform you about the formation of the Camden County Schools re-entry team. We have formed a team to design a plan for our district to re-enter our staff and students for the 2020-21 school year. And all the regions around us, they have formed task teams to make sure that a solid plan is in place. And so at the state level, the regions are collaborating to share information from state representatives. In our region, Dr. Jennifer Hefnery and Dr. Tony Vance are representing Region 1 and are providing resources to superintendents and documents from the state as they receive them so that we can have guidance on the requirements and the recommendations for the state, from the state to re-enter schools. We received guidance from the Department of Health and Human Services on Monday, June 8th. And on yesterday, we received another document from DPI that's guiding our thoughts at this time. Camden County School has a team formed that is representative of important department players in our district. That includes from the principals, myself, and I am the team leader. Mr. Larry Lawrence will represent the transportation department, food services and maintenance. Christy Thomas and Alicia Mozelle will represent student services. Laura Baird will represent the health services, and Mark Harlan will represent our athletic department. We also have members of the Teacher Advisory Council on the committee as well. Ms. Deborah Penwell from Grandy Primary, Rachel Joyner from Camden Intermediate School, Gloria Diaz from Camden Middle, Jackie Duncan from the high school, and Jennifer Lilly from the early college. The number one concern for all of our schools is to ensure that we keep our students and staff safe as we provide a quality education, especially through these challenging times in our world. Our responsibility as a team is to design a reentry plan for our students and staff with guidance from the state that includes specific procedures and operations to ensure our school takes the necessary precautions to do our part to control the spread of the coronavirus. We will be looking to address every possible question that may arise from parents, as well as looking at the three plans that the state proposes. As a quick reference for you, the plans that the districts have to choose from depending on the state and regional metrics are Plan A, which is the minimal social distancing. That's bringing everyone back to school to the least restrictive environment. And this will be implemented if the COVID-19 metrics continue to stabilize or move in a positive direction. Plan B is moderate social distancing. It's more restrictive for social distance and reduce the density of the school. So it'll be like a 50-50 kind of thing, bring 50% of students in at one time, or however the district decides to do that, the team decides to propose. And this will be implemented if the COVID-19 metrics worsen. In Plan C, we will go to remote learning only. We will suspend in-person instruction and implement remote learning for students. And this will be implemented if COVID-19 metrics worsen significantly. Today we met as a team for the first time, and we engaged in our initial conversation to establish our roles and discuss our tasks and how we will operate. We reviewed the guidance from the state that we received on Monday, on Monday of this week, and also viewed others. We have resources from other states to kind of guide our thoughts as well. We received a proposal from Vance County that was very good, and we're going to use that as a model for our plan. The team, we did go down some rabbit holes today, and we thought that was important for them to kind of get it all out in the beginning so we can kind of go forth and focus on the work ahead of us. And so today was a great start, and we look forward to meeting with the team. And in conclusion, from your perspective, are there any areas that you feel need to be represented on the team that we may have overlooked?
When you went through your members of the committee, I didn't hear anything from EC or anything from technology from a remote learning standpoint, which item C goes strong to remote learning.
So we have a remote learning plan already in progress. Ms. Anderson is working on that. And we talked about that today in our meeting, that we will kind of join forces with her because that plan is due in July. And so that's been something that was expected from the districts to the state by July. So we're going to partner with her with that one. And then if we need to kind of improve it or kind of make changes, we'll collaborate with Ms. Anderson with that one.
And as far as EC is concerned, this team is really going to be focused more on safety and bringing it back in. EC is going to kind of be its own thing where this is concerned, and will likely be led by Ms. Hicks and other members of the team. We don't, and Ms. Hicks, please correct me if I'm wrong, but right now, we don't have a lot of EC guidance. Is that right?
No, EC, anything that happens in the EC world is completely contingent upon what Gen Ed is doing. So if Gen Ed is not, so basically in a nutshell, if Gen Ed is providing full-on virtual instruction, one-to-one or however they're doing it, then EC follows suit. But if we're in a situation where there are no services being given, like the 2 weeks that we were out where it was just closed, then we are not obligated to provide EC services because Gen Ed services are not being provided. So everything that EC has to think about is based upon what the Gen Ed plan is. So really, we have to kind of wait until we know what Gen Ed is doing, and it makes it triple as hard for EC, because if you've got school buildings doing different things, then we have to monitor what is this teacher doing versus what is this teacher doing. So if you've got different teachers, one's giving packets and another one's giving virtual, it makes it real hard to figure that out for EC services. But in a nutshell, EC depends on Gen Ed.
So it just as, I guess, sort of related to what Mr. Rizzo is sharing. So we have a reentry team. We also have to have a plan for remote learning. And we also have to have right now a plan for summer jumpstart learning. So we have several different requirements going on all at the same time. So one of the recommendations I made to Mr. Rizzo today is, especially when he gets the team that he's leading focused on option C when it's time to do that, then he is going to want to have some conversation with Ms. Anderson and some members of her team that might be working on the remote learning plan, because it's related but separate. So we have, I know it sounds confusing, doesn't it? It does to me.
Any other perspectives you think that we've overlooked? And also, if you would like to join us, I'll be more than happy to share our meeting dates with you. We're meeting in the next 2 weeks on the 22nd, here in the media center. We'll start at 9. So if you want to join us for a meeting or two, please feel free.
So it's June 22nd, July 8th,
And the 15th.
15th. Sorry.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Targeted support and improvement, the 6.
And haven't seen you guys in a while formally. I've seen you guys on the fly, but just wanted to come and just give a quick update on the targeted support and improvement. Last year, I think you remember, I gave that nice informative presentation on TSI and how you get TSI and where that comes from. I'm not going to carry you through that again, but I can answer questions if you need me to. When I first came to you, it was tied to a grant. Now there's no longer money for that. Basically what the state did is they had old money that they needed to spend, so they decided to give it to schools who applied for supplemental funding to address needs from the TSI status. And now there's no more money tied to it. Imagine that. Big shocker, I know. But now you still have statuses. You have a TSI status. And I just wanted to make sure that the board knew that our TSI statuses have not changed in Camden County. You have to have accountability data, testing and accountability data in order to get yourself off of a TSI or CSI status. And due to COVID-19, because we did not have testing, we don't have any accountability data, which means that those statuses will carry over from the 2018-2019 school year where they were first identified. So that's my basic update for TSI. Are there any questions about that? Just as a recap, we do have 2 TSI identified schools. That is the high school for their Black student population, and we have the middle school who is on the watch list for students with disabilities. Okay.
continue on with their federal program.
And just to update you, we've got our IDEA grant that is coming up, that is due and will be submitted by July 17th. And nothing much has changed with that. We're gonna use that, grant to pay for 4 cross-categorical teachers, their benefits, their health insurance, things of that nature. And, we will also have about $84,000 that is dedicated to ensure that if we roll over into the new school year, our staff salaries and benefits are uninterrupted, just in case we do not have a budget and we don't have any money drop. Okay? And then a part of that grant also goes to pre-K, and generally, we don't get a whole lot of money for pre-K, and so we use those funds for transportation for pre-K kids. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Financial update was provided in your board packet. Anybody have any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to the action agenda. And historically to present the interim budget resolution for 2020-2021 fiscal year.
I'm here for y'all to approve the interim budget resolution for the new school year. Of course, we're not have a final budget in place before July 1st. But I just need an interim budget approved so that we can continue everything into the new year without interruption.
My recommendation would be to approve the interim budget resolution as requested by the city.
Motion by Ms. Abbott to accept the superintendent's recommendation of approving the interim budget resolution for 2020-2021 fiscal year as presented by Ms. Holdway. Seconded by Mr. Purcell. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now, Ms. Norkley, your proposed budget of the Camden County Board of Education for the fiscal year 2025.
I have a revision on the 1920 budget for under child nutrition appropriations. That final figure was actually incorrect. It should have been about $2,300 more than what it was. When we added up all the figures, they did not match what was already there. So I just had to type that and recorrect it. So just to approve the revision.
My recommendation is that you approve those budget revisions as presented by the city.
Motion by Mr. Heath to accept the superintendent's recommendation for Ms. Norkley's presentation of proposed budget revisions for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
The superintendent to discuss the CTE local application.
Evening. So this year's application is 89 pages, Mr. Patel, but we didn't bring that time. The local application serves as a district's planning document and application for career and technical education, state and federal funding for the fiscal 2020-21 year. The completion and approval of the local application also serves as a compliance document, which meets all requirements of Perkins. This application is a necessary part of the State Board of Education's accountability to the General Assembly of North Carolina and the U.S. Department of Education. Perkins 5 is the federal legislation that governs career and technical education, and it will begin full implementation on July 20. This new legislation changed how we developed our local application this year. One factor required was a comprehensive local needs assessment. So our CTE department, our Business Advisory Council, and several other stakeholders completed the process throughout this 1920 school year. Data collected from the CLNA became the guiding point of our application. The CLNA showed us our strengths and weaknesses as a department. Some areas of strength is the middle school ag and business programs complement the high school programs. Their highlights of the year was their middle school FFA livestock team placed 10th in the state. Their Exploring Biotech team placed first on the stage. The 8th grade computer science class had guest speakers about computer science careers, and we're moving computer science up to the high school, and started a robotics club where they will practice the coding skills they learned. The 7th grade business class continued to learn Microsoft Office applications, which is a need expressed by our labor market. It also aligns with the business support certified pathway that just got approved through NC Works for our area. Our high school highlights are our program area offerings at the high school level, meet our current job market needs in the area, and provide students with the opportunity to explore careers. Our CTE concentrators remain at or above the state level in the following areas: our 4-year graduation rate, academic proficiency in reading, language arts, and science, post-secondary placement, non-traditional program enrollment, and proficiency on the CTE post-assessments. Of course, there were none for the spring semester. The comprehensive needs assessment also brought up some areas of concerns, and these are the areas that we will focus on in the upcoming year. Academic proficiency in math. The CTE department will work with the math coaches to help make connections between their curriculum and core instruction in order for them to show the students what you're learning in core, this is your application. Program quality, which is attain a post-secondary credential. Even though we're at the state average for this, this is a reporting factor not only to the federal government, but to the general legislation. We would like to see an increase in the number of students who leave high school with a credential that will be beneficial to them in the workplace. Some highlights from this year are students receiving credentials in their workplace readiness, CPR and first aid, EVER5 financial literacy, OSHA, quality care of animals, and this spring included 9 early childhood students receiving first aid and CPR, 10 students out of Foods 1 receiving their Serve Safe certification, 13 students in Public Safety 1 earned all 4 FEMA certifications, and then they did that before COVID, or the FEMAs were after COVID. 4 students completed the first 3 firefighter certifications before COVID and remote learning started, and then we had to stop that process. And then there were also students who earned their Microsoft Office certifications. And the third area of concern that we'll work on is career planning, and we'll work for purposeful advising. And one of our jobs as educators is to help students connect their high school pathway to their career goals. And ways that we will work on doing that is creation of career plans for students before entering high school and maintained throughout, a CTE job fair in conjunction with our Business Advisory Council, field trips and guest speakers to business and industry so our students can see the opportunities available in our geographical area. And as part of career planning, we will work to increase our work-based learning opportunities, making sure they're aligned to their career goals. These assurances and certifications confirm our capacity to carry out the state and federal legal requirements and policies during the time frame of this application. We submitted the application on May 15th. I'm still waiting for approval from the state on that, and so it's possible there may be some minor corrections to the plan. Any questions?
So you're waiting on this from the state that you can approve.
I need approval tonight, yes, sir.
So my recommendation is that you approve the application for the CTU local, or the CTU local application rather, as presented by the state.
Motion by Mr. Purcell to accept the superintendent's recommendation of the CTE local application as presented by Ms. Oates. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Lawrence to discuss the ABM contract.
Good evening. Last board meeting, we selected the cleaning contractor for our schools. We had to get a contract from them, which we did. We reviewed it in-house and saw a few things we thought needed to change. We turned it over to our legal department. They went through it with ABM's staff and made those corrections, and it's been returned to us, complete, ready to go. And we're ready to
get them aboard here.
My recommendation is that you approve the contract, now that it has been vetted by, board attorneys, and as presented by Mr. Barnes.
Motion by Dr. Banks to set the superintendent's recommendation for the ABM contract as presented this evening by Mr. Lawrence. Seconded by Mr. Heath. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Continue on, Mr. Lawrence, with the Camden Early College High School restroom safety upgrade.
I was asked to get some pricing for some adding restrooms to Camden Early College, which I've done. We reviewed it. Would like to add a boys and girls restroom in there with handicap stalls and everything, and also enclose the walkways in, make it a safer school. Again, we reviewed it, got a plan for it. We managed to look at we managed to find some money to do this project with, and would like to do it.
Yeah, I was just seeing if there were any questions. So,
Any questions?
Say thank you. This is a long time coming. Thank you for getting good quotes and hopefully providing the money.
All right. Thank you very much.
So, my recommendation is that you approve the upgrades as presented by Mr. Lawrence to Camden Early College to begin pretty much immediately, right?
Correct.
Motion by Mr. Heath to accept the superintendent's recommendation for the Camden Early College High School restroom safety upgrade as presented by Mr. Lawrence. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Lawrence.
you.
Ms. Lane to discuss the draft 2020-2021 school year calendars. Keyword on draft.
The changes that were made to the calendars in order to meet the requirements of legislation are as follows. Student start date will be August the 17th, 2020. The closing date will be June 4th, 2020. We have to maintain the 215 teacher working days. Teachers will return to school on August the 11th. The addition of the 5 full instruction days required will be August 17th through the 21st, 2020. Changes in the calendar to cover those would be mandatory work day of October 9th is now a full instructional day. March 19th is now a full instructional day. May 7th is a full instructional day, and then we added June 3 and 4. The 5 remote learning days are going to be on designated optional teacher work days. The teachers will still be able to use annual leave on those days because the work that they require does not have to be synchronous with their attention to that day. So they can assign the work and then have the children check with them on another day to get it straight. So those days are going to be October 12th, January 25th, February 15th, March 26th, and April the 2nd. We added an additional optional teacher work day for semester change on January the 19th. We moved a mandatory teacher work day from March 22nd to March 26th to coincide with the end of the third quarter. And then the quarters in on October 22nd, January 15th, March 25th, and June 4th. So we have 182 days, and we have 1,122 instructional hours. We take away 28 instructional hours for 8 early release days, so we end up with 1,094 total instructional hours. The state requires 1,025 hours, so we're well above what we are required to have, which gives us plenty of room for inclement weather and also gives us an opportunity to help our students to try to recover some time.
We also removed the no days.
The no days were March the 19th and May the 7th were the 2 no days that we removed. Any questions, concerns?
My recommendation is that you approve the revised calendar as presented.
Motion by Ms. Abbott to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the revised 2020-2021 school year calendar as presented. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Just so you know, early colleges are exempt from all of these calendar changes. So there won't be, the only internal changes will be in the early college calendar is to match the days that we have off in the traditional calendar.
Is there anything about the COA maybe moving up their start dates? I know a lot of four-year universities are moving it up to be done by Thanksgiving.
We're hearing some stuff, but I haven't heard anything definite yet. I have a calendar from COA, which does not indicate any kind of moving up, but I'm also going to meet with Brittany Lassiter and April Jackson at the early college to see if there's anything we need to do in order to make sure that our kids are synchronized with COA so that they're not missing any time.
So COA does do that.
We would have to do something to get the kids in to get them started. So right now, it's not required by legislation to change their calendar, but it may be required in order to synchronize with COA. And I'll keep you all up to date on that.
I just heard most of the four-year universities.
Right, they are. East Carolina has eliminated fall break. They're starting early and they're going to be finished before Thanksgiving. And they're going straight through. Thank you.
Superintendent Farrell to present the summer work hours.
So going into this, let me remind you that for the last whatever number of weeks, we have been on mandatory work from home for everyone on Mondays and Fridays. And reduce, just in an effort to reduce the number of people in the building and potential exposure. So that means that our summer hours, which I am proposing start on Monday, June 15th, and go through Friday, August 7th, where employees have the option to work 4 10-hour days, Monday through Thursday, or option B, work some more hours on those days and a half day on Fridays, and that is their decision as to what they do. And I'm going to request in just a moment that you approve that, but I want to make sure that you all are clear that we are going to relax or I guess I should say, I'm going to relax the mandatory work from home on Mondays and Fridays, because now that teachers and other employees or 10-month employees will be off from summer, it's going to significantly reduce the number of people in buildings anyway. So I felt like it was okay at this point to give people the option, say they choose to work 4 days, Monday through Thursday, the 10 hours. They could go to the office on Mondays. They'd be off on Fridays anyway. They could go to the office on Monday, but we would also still make that available to them should they choose to work from home or telework during the days that they're working, but not require them to do that on Mondays. So just so you're aware, if you start to see activity back in the buildings on Mondays through the summer. But my request would be that you approve the summer work hours as presented in the memo starting Monday, June 15th, and ending on Friday, August 7th.
Motion by Mr. Heath to accept the superintendent's recommendation for approval of summer work schedule, seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Farrell, North Carolina General Trust Area Additional General Liability Fund.
This is the first of several School Boards Association agenda items tonight, but just as a reminder to you that this is the liability fund that covers some general liability, cyber liability, sexual acts and abuse liability, and as of January 1st, 2020, also carries active shooter workplace violence crisis response group insurance. I think you all were aware of that, but just as a reminder of that, at a cost of $3,071, and I would request that you approve the agreement to participate in this fund.
Motion by Mr. Purcell that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for North Carolina General Trust Area Additional General Liability Fund as presented this evening. Seconded by Ms. Idlet. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Farrell, North Carolina School Board's Action Center, 2020-21 contributions.
In the past, you all have opted to contribute $2,000, which is what an LEA our size is required to contribute for the North Carolina School Board's Action Center advocacy efforts. And if you all would like to do that again, it is again $2,000 for the 2021 school year.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion? Is there a need for discussion?
And this is not technically a recommendation from the board. This is a, you need to decide whether they want to do this or not.
Yes, it's not actually a recommendation, you're presenting this, but it's, has to be approved.
I don't think you'd rather do that. I was a little worried if I was recommending. It's not. We consider that.
Contributed every year, they enacted the action center.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Purcell to approve the North Carolina School Board's Action Center contribution. Any further discussion?
So it's more of the support for advocacy, which they do voluntary, but it's voluntary.
Yes, just to support the Action Center, which is able to do lobbying on a different manner, I guess you could say, that the actual association cannot do. Kind of like the same way commissioners have lobbyists and action centers, nonprofits. Camden, I know they even have parts in it if you have a local issue that you want lobby, or local legislation that you want to enact, that they will come and help you draft and what you want. All that's included in being a member of the action.
You look at their presentation, they just see the amount of lobbyists that some of these other organizations have. A whole lot of fighting together to get some of those.
Yeah, in a sense, it's necessary. I know some of the ways they go on, I really agree.
I know that, and that's a discussion we have every year, is we don't always agree with every decision that they make, but yeah,
It will be part of the vote.
right.
We were part of the vote that
Yeah,
they kind of.
they go their way.
didn't do right.
Yeah, it was not correct with them.
We were in the majority, I believe. I'm on.
19.
And I understand that Harvard and those, you get kicked in the face. Sometimes we've had that, with our boys, we can be stronger too. As a part of being a member of the action. That action center. Just looking at it too from a perspective, things that brought your own. So we can have the charter schools have a lot of this, even the school administrators have a lot of this. Just the kids do. Any further discussion? Motion dies from a lack of second. Dr. Farrell to discuss the North School Board Association PLS update for spring 2020.
Yeah, the spring 2020 policy updates were included in your packet, and I would request that you table that for the customary 30 days.
Motion by Mr. Heath to table the spring 2020 policy updates for review until our next board meeting. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Farrell, discuss the Camden County Schools strategic plan.
So you will recall that the strategic plan that you all approved last year runs through June 30th of 2022. Given the amount of time that we've been out of school and the lack of work on it, I'm bringing to you the option of extending that to June 30th, 2023. Just as a reminder, it is what we would refer to, I guess, as a living, breathing document where we're constantly updating it and changing it, but a number of things have been put on hold this year because of the school closure. And as Ms. Lane shared with me earlier in the week, we are going to have a number of things that are going to have to be added, we think, as we move forward. So the discussion that we've had is whether or not we would leave it at June 30th, 2022, or if we would extend it to June 30th, 2023. Thoughts on that. And ultimately, if you want to extend it to June 30th, 2023, it would require a voter vote.
Motion by Dr. Banks to extend the Camden County Schools strategic plan to June 30th, 2023. Seconded by Ms. Isaac. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Farrell, is the SBA custom policy update service.
Okay, so remember a few years back, you all spent a significant amount of money to get all of your policies current and up to date. This service, which is something you have opted to participate in for significantly less money than having the whole policy manual overhauled, keeps us updated continuously throughout changes that are constantly going on, and I suspect that we are about to see lots and lots of those coming down, and so the School Boards Association does a really good job of that. The total cost for that for the year is $6,900, and I would request that you all approve us to continue that service.
Motion by Ms. Silent to accept the superintendent's recommendation to continue with NCSBA custom policy update service for fiscal year 2020-2021. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Farrell, NCSBA membership dues and legal assistance fund contribution.
All right, so another item that you all have to decide if you want to move forward with is the membership dues and legal assistance fund contributions to the North Carolina School Boards Association in the amount of $13,777.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath to approve the NCSBA membership dues and legal assistance fund contribution as presented by Dr. Farrell, seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Farrell, superintendent's recommendations for employment in closed session.
Yes, I would request that you approve the personnel action report as presented by Mr. Berry in closed session.
Motion.
Sorry. We gotta get that in the right minutes over there.
That's right.
Motion by Mr. Purcell to accept the superintendent's recommendation of employment of personnel as presented by Dr. Berry during closed session. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Announcements. Future conference date of North Carolina School Board Association Annual Conference is still slated for November the 5th through November the 7th. June 12th and 13th will be Camden County High School graduation. The July regular monthly board meeting reminder has been changed to July 23rd, 6:30 closed session, 7:30 open session at Camden County High School Media Center. June 25th, we have the board meeting with open and closed session, 5 p.m. at the central office. Does anybody have any other announcements they would like to share? Seeing none, entertain a motion to recess open session to return to closed session. Motion by Dr. Banks to recess open session to return to close. Seconded by Mr. Purcell. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming this evening. I'll expect y'all
Thank
back
you.
whenever we get back.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Miss Lane.